Wait, this isn't Anno 1800. This is Anno 2070. Hello, one and all, to something just ever so slightly different. Now, ignore the date in the bottom corner. Yes, this is pre-recorded. Oh, woe is me. I'm currently out of town, not anywhere near my current, well, haphazard streaming setup, but I thought I'd try to do something to bridge the gap, if you will. Now, hopefully this turns out well enough to warrant continuation over, well, at least 7 episodes. Or, let's say at least 5. Hopefully 7, maybe more in the future. Depends on general reaction. So, Anno 1800, one of my personal favorites of the series, mostly because it's a very nostalgic game for me. I got it, well, many moons ago, at some point on Christmas, for quite cheap at that point already. And it is my first foray into the series, which is why I hold it very near and dear to my heart. It's... Compared to Anno 1800, it is a very, very different type of game. Now, Anno 1800, as in general, is set up in a way where it wants you to have a large session and play it for many hours. And with the way how you can activate DLCs once you buy them just right up in your existing session, that just facilitates that by, well, facilitates it even more. So you can basically play one of those sessions near endlessly. Anno 2070, somewhat very different. It's much more geared towards shortish sessions to actually finishing games and to make away with the spoils. It has a meta progression system, which whilst not altering the game in huge amounts, but it offers you certain aspects to the game that I don't think any of the other games afterwards ever did. You have 3 general factions, each of them have their own little slew of rewards, from the general stuff like profile pictures, the stuff you know from Anno 1800 and probably would expect, player colors, and profile pic, and arc skins, should be ship skins as well, I believe, to curious stuff like, hey, you can just buy wood and get that delivered, aside to the normal stuff you can get delivered. There's also titles. Currently don't have any. Those are tied all to achievements, I believe. There might be one hidden amongst all of these, but not gonna look through all of them. But
I have told the board about you. They are all most impressed.
And whilst I personally like the eco faction, so I usually go for their stuff first. It is the easiest faction, I feel, play-wise. It's not the most... They are not geared towards maximum efficiency, but more towards harmony, as eco-balance is a general theme in the game. And stuff like coal mines, of course, ruin your eco-balance, whilst lava stations and natural energy sources keep it in balance or even improve your current eco-value, which in turn increases the productivity of your farms and such. So they are somewhat specialized on the eco aspect of the game. It is, for anybody who played the scenario Ubisoft put out about in Anno 1800 with all the eco stuff, it is basically the same approach. It's less detailed in this game because it's more of a flat approach to everything. But the main pointers come down to the same things. Whilst
Doing an admirable job for the company. Well done.
whilst Rufus Foreign and the company, they are geared towards maximum efficiency and making the most out of, well, they try to squeeze their population dry, and they try to squeeze the land dry as well. And then there's science, which is in a way the end game, as a lot of stuff you can actually produce that will go a long way in future games is created for science. Now,
If anyone has earned the thanks and respect of the initiative, it's you.
part of these are, for example, the formulas, which improves all your weather control stations in the sector, influence area reduced, energy consumption reduced. You have these modules, these SD cards, formulas that you can use in your arc. Oh, what is the arc? I'll get to that in a moment. That gives you buffs that are usually region-wide. There are there are also items you use in your dock areas that are just island-wide, like additional fertilities, for instance. But this is the stuff you generally want, and it's the hardest to get, it's the hardest to produce, and that is where the actual endgame is. Now, arcs. Oh, I have memory expansion. Number of cargo holds on your arc by 4. Permanently increase the storage capacity of every cargo hold on your arc by 20 tons. And we're back. Here's the arcs stuff. We have arc configuration right around here. You can see it holds a load of different items, 1-star, 2-star, and 3-star items, which, well, get more powerful the higher you come in along the tiers. And I have a 1-star item from one of the very few games I played on this account. Improves all buildings in the sector, ecological effect -2%. Now that is the literal definition of a drop in a bucket. Basically doesn't do anything. But that's just how it is. It is how you start out. And you'll have to build up to reach anything at all. But that is also where the fun comes in. Now, shouldn't have clicked out of it. How do you gain career points is maybe the question that comes up for some people. Well, there are World Council votes and Senate votes in Anno 2070, which
You're standing up for the right things.
is
Thank you.
basically the community as a whole casts the votes which of the factions should receive support for the next electoral period. I'm not quite sure on how long these last. They do last for a while. But, well, there you go. The next vote ends on the 11th of June. I'll be out of town at that point. And if you spend your vote, you get certain bonuses. You can share it to Facebook. Wow, what great features. It gets you certain bonuses. The World Council gets you stuff you can activate for influence, which is a currency you have to come by doing quests and similar things. And the bonuses depend on which world leader you choose. Now, usually, what I personally do, I don't really look at the bonuses. I just take the one that I'm trying to level up my career with, as these give a good amount of career points for that faction in particular. Now, the ecos are currently winning. The ecos are winning quite often.
Thanks. We need every vote we can get.
Usually it's either eco or science. Now, the Senate has a more immediate effect if they win the election, like need for all residents for drinks is reduced, which is a general and very good baseline need. They don't drink as much stuff as the investors drink coffee in Anno 1800, but they want quite a lot. Essential rights increased for engineers and lab assistants. Yeah, that's also a thing of this game. There is you only have a certain percentile of people who can ascend per per stage, and general tax would be increased if you took the Global Trust Initiative, the Global Trust Fund. So, there's also two other very interesting things about this game. There's
Assignment received.
quests. Procure and deliver 25 tons of limestone, and we can choose who we deliver it to.
A quest from the organization.
Going to deliver it to the Eden Initiative, as this again will give me a little bit of career points towards, well, whatever is next in line. You start working your way up. The first levels are quite cheap, just 50 points, then 200, 300, and so on. It rises, increases steadily. And there's also scenarios. These rotate out ever so often, which is a nice little feature, and they all unlock some part of the game. Now, they also afford you quite a generous amount of real points if you take part. These fill up over the duration of the event, depending on how many people actually contributed to it. 25 points. The amount of points you get should be what is in this bottom corner. You can replay these as often as you want, so if you find something, you can actually farm these for rewards if you really want or need to. Curiously, all the rewards you got initially from the events, you can just buy. For a couple of euros, couple of bucks, you can just unlock these in the in the downloadable content area. So, now all that being said, probably time to get into a game. Just wanted to go over all these differences, as maybe a lot of people have not actually experienced Anno 2070. It is the climate change game. The general story of 2070 is the don't want to say something too outrageous or wrong, but I do believe there's been a great war. Missiles have been fired, as is evident on some islands, and what little of land is left after the ice caps have melted is now up for re-inhabitation. Going to go for a continuous game. I do think I want normal.
Your authorization for the quest has been verified. Objectives loaded.
A single missions domination. Yeah, it's just give me normal.
Loading
Mission
checkpoint
points,
with
game
purpose.
settings, yes. Our pirate, Hector. There's a load of vendors. These are the only two NPCs that are available who are trying to fight for you against you. Let's up the. I want to be Eden. Let's up the size of the archipelago. And in general, refunding stuff is nice. Island size. I do like to go for average medium in most of my games. Fertilities and raw materials medium, that's fine. Add-on, hostile takeover on. No revealed map. 5,000 credits. No start situation, just a command ship. You can turn your arc, the stuff you have on your arc, on and off, as that will transfer between the games. You leave it on. Required win conditions, they're on. It's a normal game, not quite slap bang in the middle, a little bit on the hard side for whatever reason. There are environmental disasters, so yes, I do believe it's tied to the eco balance, but I could not entirely say for sure. But yes, you can get ravaged by a tornado. It has the SimCity stuff. Then I'm just gonna start the game. The visuals of the islands, of the trees in general, it is very washed out. It's neither your eyes, it's not even my recording or my PC, for that matter. It just looks that way. And you either like it or you love it. You can get used to it, but it does take a while. Just a fair warning. It's not the...
Instructions for the current quest received.
25 tons of limestone. There's my arc.
An island located.
We want an island with tea. Rice is nice. Coffee is a bonus. Oh, it's lagging. I have a little bit of building modules, tools, and some starting fish. Can't even scroll my mouse. Probably games like, yeah, I should have taken medium size. Gonna take this coastline close to the arc. I think this is 2. Confuzzled. We can now build our first foothold, this exciting new world, and then we'll set out and try to find the Anno. There are a couple of major differences with this old game. You can only build in the highlighted sectors, and you can only increase the amount of highlighted areas by constructing additional depots across the island. And they are all circular, so it's gonna overlap in horrible,
Registering
unfortunate
domain.
ways. But
New island coordinates acquired.
whilst you need to have your building radius is touched, so you can actually expand in all manner of different directions. Building for your settlement is entirely unrelated, or in general, there's no real
Building selection expanded.
need for workforce, as you generally don't get a lot of people. Oh, nice, I can build a hydraulic dam on this island. That's good to have. Well, how are we looking resource-wise? Basalt, lobsters, sand, coal, iron, limestone, copper. No uranium. These all have value associated with it. 1.5 thousand tons of limestone. These will actually run out at some point. You can refill them with science, but they can and they will run out eventually. Let's set up a small commune of people.
I am happy
Hmm.
to spare some
Time for new business.
Hmm. I'd hoped it would take a little longer for us to run into Sokov. Or at least, well, because he's our next door neighbor, mostly. Most of the stuff we have requires building materials, which we can get by extracting basalt from the ground. We have 3.4 thousand tons of basalt, so you can they have a rough idea of how much you can. Not quite sure if that's inside the range, so be safe. They're gonna overlap at some point anyways. So all these islands we've discovered. Let's hope Hector's nowhere near us. The pirates in this game can be quite vicious. Sugar beets. Now, wine. We are going to need vegetables fairly soon.
Scanning unknown coast.
Morek, so that's vegetables. But that's Sokov's. Now his island is already suffering.
Look around. No company works more efficient.
A lot of small islands already. I thought I said it to medium. Oh? And there's the
You're new here,
pirates.
so I tell you straight up, this sector belonged to the Barracudas. You wanna stay, you're gonna have to fight for it.
But that's... Well, we know where he is, but he's fairly close. That is the main problem. He'll take any opportunity he can get to shoot our ships down. It's not like little old Annie. He's also not too
Scanning unknown coast.
fussed with us. Now, basalt collectors need extraction fields. And you can watch the robots tearing up the ground. There's a stable ecobalance of 0. We need power as well, which is one of the main reasons why we're going to lose ecobalance. And there's the smelter. It will make us new building blocks, which we can eventually use. Gonna connect these two up. Now, if you've played Anno 1800 and have not seen 2070 before, notice the complete absence of what might be considered quality of life features. How long does one of these basalt mines take to produce a single instance of granules? Oh, could time it. I don't know. And how much time does a single smelter need to process one granule into one building module? Huh. At this point, your guess is as good as mine. The only thing we really can do is just watch for the amount going up in the respective cargo holds. Now, however, what we lack in statistics, we gain in other departments. No roads needed. That little guy just picked up the building module all the way from over there. So we are indeed living in the future. Hovercraft. Hovercraft. That's my immediate my immediate definition of the future. We have hovercrafts, we have flying cargo transports. We have, I guess, completely automated workforces, as well, there is no workforce we need to supply. The people living in this place are actually going to just be living here for pleasure. So let's have a couple of people
Building
move in.
selection expanded.
The building selection has expanded. They immediately desire fish. Fish. Now they supply
We've made the best of the situation, thanks to you.
a somewhat stable amount of taxes, depending on how far you go along. Taxes. Game wants to inform me about taxes. Well, I know about taxes. That is what each of the building pays at the respective happiness grade, which gets increased the further we get along to general needs. Seems logical, doesn't it?
We've made the best of the situation, thanks to you.
That's great. And they'll get unhappier the more we tax them. I usually just leave them at
Need for community not met. Loading important information on the relationship.
Oh, no, you
between
don't need to.
taxes, income, and
Don't need to.
population satisfaction.
Don't need to. Should have built them a road. Immediately cuts them off. They currently want food and they want community, as they want access to the marketplace, to the city center.
Respect. Thanks to you, we're living the good life.
Slightly going up in taxes now. Got a whole 6 from all the Now, if you supply roads, there's also normal driving carriers that will be able to pick up goods as well from time to time. So having a mixture of both is going to be ideal overall. Once it is what it comes down to. Oh? Oh yeah, immediately that's... Discarded threatening notes. Full of spelling mistakes. So yeah, that's what I get for leaving my ship unattended. Seeing how damaged it already is. Now these do not repair on their own, as they do in 1800. And the pirates at times
Now we played a little cat.
will try to just hunt you down. There's also several types of damage, because we have air units at some point, there's ships, and there's submarines. So a whole lot of stuff we need to take into account. And then we need to watch out for. Also now get wind parks, power, and just in general, we'll need to have more people move in, so they want to drink stuff. wanna offset them a little bit. A few games where I sometimes feel there's more feedback units on the actual street than people living on your island. Apparently you have 53 people currently living here.
Respect.
Respect.
We're living the good life.
One more and we'll... Nope, now they want drinks. They want tea. Now tea is something they'll want a lot of. Now something that is going to be a constant issue to some degree is, in general, everything that has a radius has a circular radius. With a lot of things it does not matter at all if they overlap or not. It's usually a matter of efficiency. So I probably want something like this more so than I want something like, say this. But there might come a point where I want to have this little front area connected anyways.
Energy supply inadequate.
Energy shortage. Now, energy is basically the only thing that requires its own little radiuses. Radii? As if they overlap, they have reduced productivity. It's not the end of the world most of the time, but in general you do want to have these as productive as they can be. Now we have a little wind turbine. Nowhere near as effective as we need stuff to be. But back to the tea. Considering I want to have this. In a way, tea is a little bit of an outlier, as it's just produced in these fields. Gonna connect these up. You can now, in theory, watch the tea grow. There it goes. In the southern one. Oh. $2070 is very, very good for this sort of gameplay. Just lean back, have a watch what they're doing. And the robots start their work. And there's a little collector car. Isn't it quaint? Now, we are already hurtling towards our first major crisis with breakneck speed at this point. Because most, if not all, buildings that aren't just plain old houses require tools. Power tools, by the looks of things, 19. And whilst we can make building blocks as the general main resource of building anything at all, you currently cannot make power tools. But, well, not all is lost.
Awaiting your orders.
It's probably one of the reasons why you can only make power tools with your second level of inhabitants. You can order them. You could view that as some sort of tutorial. So there is that. And you get loads. It's not exactly cheap, but it's not expensive either. Here's the politics effect, where I could spend influence, 50 of them, to create money out of thin air for 5 minutes. 5k? Not exactly a large amount. Not horrible either. That's rare. A bit afraid I'll lose my ship if I send it out, but
We can really be happy.
they are now getting their tea, which makes them happier. And they can now no longer, as long as these resources are supplied, no matter how much we tax them, they won't be so angry that they move out.
You can be proud of yourself.
Not George's voice actors around as well. 112. 144 people.
Isn't it gorgeous here?
Arr.
Life can be so good.
We won't forget this festival for a long time.
Let's just push this little settlement along. Once I get fire stations and such, I want to cap these roads off. I like the eco architecture.
You can be proud of yourself.
Thanks, George. It's 4 building blocks. All out of building blocks. Oh no.
We've made the best of the situation, thanks to you.
Gonna get loads more people moving in. Well, I say loads. Alone would be
Island coordinates acquired.
at least double the amount of people I currently have in farmers. Well, not, but what am I talking about? It's 8 people per house, that's 10 farmers per house. I'm being dumb. Fruits and corn. Both a nice thing to have. An unfortunate island layout, though. Not really sure if I want this place. And vegetables is the next big thing we're going to need. And there is a point
Available for construction.
to be made to using this create fertility for vegetables. Not all islands have this open slot, but a lot of them do. Which is basically if you can buy a fertility item from one of the NPC vendors, you can slot
Registering mainland.
that in your main dock under items, sockets, empty sockets, and then you'll have the fertility available island wide, no less. It's not as limited as the trade unions are. It's another starter island. also build a hydroelectric power or dam. Send my boat off to somewhere else as I find a place for the concert hall. And there it is, the radius issue. Cause could build it right around here. And we would already be losing one of the buildings. If we build it up here, this is a nice setup for expanding towards the north or northeast area. But we already know we need another marketplace. As outside of or in the dark area, well, we can't build anything. So it's a lose-lose situation to some degree. Now this feels more sensible. Even if that poor fellow up here does not.
Registering new population class.
My name is Thorn. I can open a lot of doors for you at Global Trust, if you can prove
Now, immediately, two things happened at once. The moment we built this, one of our existing farmers upgraded to eco employees. That is because I had not locked ascension rights. You can just, as long as the materials are present, you can just let the game upgrade people on their own for as much or until the percentiles are matching. Fulfill the ascension conditions. I do prefer
respect.
to upgrade
Thanks to
them
you, we're
manually,
living the good life.
which takes a power tool. And this is also one of the reasons why in Anno 1800 I usually have the available upgrades turned on, so I can see who can be upgraded at what point in time. Where is he headed? No, there's a pirate in these waters. Go somewhere else. We also met Rufus Thorn, one of the resident vendors. He belongs to Global Trust and sells concrete because of that. He also has a selection of items which we can buy for influence. Now, I should rather.
Brings you here.
150, 90. I would like the vegetable seeds, but needs 148 licenses. Also, Copper Probe,
Registering mainland.
which is the items you need to, one of the items you can use to upgrade or refill rather the amount of raw materials you have in your mines potentially. This one, 1,500. That is not a lot compared to what you can build in the end. Expedition outside the sector. Can I?
Always has a certain amount of goods on site.
150 licenses. That is
You're a born salesman.
nice.
The company looks after its friends.
Now the thing is, if I buy the vegetables, I'm going to need corn and I'm going to need fruit anyway. But then again, it's corn. I need wheat. Going to need durum wheat, vegetables and durum wheat. So I should rather be aiming to take this island if I can. But just as I look, there's another catch. They have a damaged nuclear reactor, which gives this island a permanent -200 eco balance. That's rough. This would have been an incredible island for what I'm trying to do. Oh,
If you're looking for the green offensive, you've come to the right place.
Leon, the other expanding NPC, just beating all of them at this point. And how are we doing? Tea and fish are doing fine. So, now, what can we build after all of this? Can now build a port authority. Allows goods to be traded with ships. So, can build this on the inward side of the island to have another harbor sector. A repair dock, which feels mandatory at this point. Guns for later. Fire stations for in a little bit. And most importantly, tools and wood. What is the next level of a baseline
Game saved.
production resource? It's concrete for the industrialists and it's wood for the ecologists. So,
Registering mainland.
I mean, we're all about the renewable resources, aren't we? Need to set up a tools workshop first and foremost. So we need iron and we need coal. Thankfully, we have coal and we have iron. A lot of coal. So let's quickly make use. Of what we have. I prefer connecting stuff up if I can. They already sent out something.
Registering mainland.
But again, it doesn't really matter. And we need an iron smelter. But it's nice. It fits in here. And a tool maker. Now buildings like these also have radii, which basically shows where they collect from
Energy supply.
and or
inadequate.
deliver to. I'm gonna have to build one more wind turbine. Having the large mountain right in front of it won't be an issue, not at all. No. Why would it? Why would it be an issue? Why would it be an issue? And with that, we have basically just barely, with one more power tool to spare, we have just barely scraped by and set up our tool production. Needs 4 for trees and 2 more for making a sawmill, so we could have built that first, but it would have hosed us. It would have hosed us. So, this is also the point in time where the game slows down again. And this is a starter island of tea. And this is another starter island of tea. So there's 4 starter islands in the middle. What I take from this. It's the sushi. It's going to 15 of 360. It's the sushi that's going to require the vegetables. And of course, it's not just plain old fish sushi, it's health food. It's a maki roll.
You can be proud of yourself.
Honestly, without you, we never would have made it this far.
How long will it take for one of these to be done? Ach, wonder.
These are the buildings of the future.
Oh, he likes me building a wind park. Now I need to find Yana. Do have the power to spare, but I don't have the tools. Now there's no blueprint mode. In this, so you just have to... Just have to make do.
Just happened to be in the area.
No trench coat.
Need anything?
Trenchcoat, who's clearly a relative of Old Nate. He resurfaces periodically in the sector and brings more or less interesting goods along for us to purchase. Oh, we need 5 of these. The general question is, granules and coal. If there will be I do have coal left over already.
Registering land acquisition by another individual.
That's fine. Don't really want to send my... in general, I don't like to build repair cranes like this too early. But with the state my flagship is in, I might as well. We are currently losing eco balance. It's still considered stable. But if it goes down too far, I'm gonna get debuffs. Minus 15. It's minus 25, I believe, where stuff starts kicking in. And yeah, this is all the statistics we actually get. You can, if you, well, of course you can always rely on the internet to have some amount of answers to your questions. But for the time being, we really can only try to get an idea how good our production actually is from what piles up in our warehouses and what doesn't. Do need a bit more money. They can now be, they could be taxed quite harshly.
Respect. Thanks to you, we're living the good life.
And there's no lower than that, so. These fellas, on the other hand, are a bit more.
You give me your trust. Mission accomplished.
All the advice and taxes are preventing level increase, so yeah. That's all tutorial messages still needing to be dealt with. One of the main things about Hector is that he actually, to just seamlessly jump already over to the next thing in my
You
mind.
see the underdogs up close, huh?
Hector actually will make hunt, or he will actually hunt down ships of yours that are damaged.
How's it going?
Most rotor blades. Line of sight upgrade. Fertility rice. Energy manifesto free. One of your islands. Hull probe. Too expensive, all in all. Can I also upgrade a warehouse? Which, in general, just makes transporting stuff a lot easier. It is currently collecting from the iron mine. Might as well.
I could use some help, so move your butt.
2 crates of flotsam. Now we have 30 minutes to pick these up. There's the stock tickle limestone. There's the get with the flotsam quest. I'm getting excess iron. We are going to want to increase the production on both tools and building materials in the future. Although right now we can just leave them as slowly building up. We do also need wood. And we do need wood. For production's sake. So now because of the timing they get added to your to what you can build, the forestry and the ironworks usually end up right around the same area. And sawmills will just work the area around them. So you want to have them close to the forester. So the forester refills what they cut down. That's now gonna pile up wood, which is gonna be one of the main reasons, or the main things holding us back in the middle part of the game. So this is also not going to be enough. It's just to get started. Just to get started, as we are looking quite poor on the tax front. Upgrade a couple of these. Could have 17 eco-residences, and we have 18 farmer residences. So most farmers can be upgraded into employees, but not all of them. And that is going to be Well, at this point in time, of course, we cannot upgrade
What should
all
I
of them
say?
because
I'm
of
doing great.
he doesn't have the activity fulfilled. Before I get corrected on that, but there are some percentages going on. Now, this has been an hour already, and I will try to keep these on the shorter side. This might mean that progress is limited to a certain amount, as well as my uncontrolled ramblings right now will have to. Well, I can't really do them. What I will do before I stop this current recording, I will pick up these. I will send my
Game
boat
saved.
back to trench code. So, this is the first look at Anno 2070, a game I personally hold very dear. Has a very nostalgic feeling for me. Calling it nostalgic might sound strange at first, but well, to each their own, I would argue. I will try to make a couple of these recordings. I'm gonna cheekily pause the game now. A nice feature you have. On PC at least, compared to console. Yeah, I will try to make a couple of these, put them up day by day. I will keep them at around 1 hour. I'm gonna try try something new. Bear with me. The idea of recording it like this is fairly new to me. I hope everything is kind of okay. And if not, well, then this has all been for naught, I guess. But then it won't be uploaded. So if you see this, yay, it worked. Which would offer me or give me the opportunity to do other content as well, and not just use it for my VODs. Just try to test out the waters. And considering this channel has been doing well with Anno for the time being, I wanted to continue in that same vein and show off one of the games I really liked. It's just as slow as most of the games in this series. Especially with the limited availability of actually fast forwarding time. I'll be honest. I'm gonna check that, but that's strategic diplomacy. Right now, I couldn't actually tell you if you can forward time. Now, I usually don't do it, so that's why I wouldn't know, but anyway. If you made it this far, thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for bearing with me as I try to figure this stuff out. It's very much one of my first attempts at doing these, especially recording it like this. And I hope to see you next time. Bye-byes.